What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the GSN Sports Network podcast. I'm your host, John J. the Second, here on a Tuesday night, the 24th of June, 2025. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the GSN. Really excited to have you guys with us. So we got a great show in store for you guys. Going to talk about some sports, talk about what's now behind us, talk about what's in front of us and what is here for us right now, which is it's limited. It's limited. So what we got right now, we had a lot that we just came off of, and it wasn't even as much as we did before that. So slim pickings, but don't fret, don't worry. There's a lot of good things on the horizon, so I'm really not worried about it. First of all, though, wow, the NBA Finals. I mean, did anybody expect that? I had a couple wagers out there for the Pacers. We were talking about the Rick Carlisle effect with me and Kyle Lutz. We were talking about what the hell he Burton with some unbelievable play. And you want to talk about heartbreak. You want to talk about devastation for Indiana and the Pacers fan base, and that is Halliburton tearing his Achilles in Game 7 very early on. Didn't get to play a major role. His family was tending to him during that injury, and everybody's worst nightmares came true. Now, if there's any solace to be had in this entire thing, it's the fact that he at least fought through the calf sprain to make it to Game 7. Now, if he didn't make it to Game 7, now Indiana fans are like, okay, well, what could have been? They're still saying that, and they're still going to say that, and they have the right to say it. But at least he made it to the hardwood to play. He played limited minutes in Game 6 to then save his stamina for Game 7. It was just a bad play, and it was a bad drive. His upper body got ahead of his feet. His feet got left behind, really, when he drove the ball early on in the game and tore his Achilles. You saw it happen. You saw his ankle basically stay in place as his upper body and the rest of him continued to move forward. And you could see the writing on the wall before the diagnosis was even provided. That is the devastation that you really don't want to see anybody have to go through that. If anything, there's some solace to be had because it's the off season. That was the last game of the year, so now you can get rested up, healed up. Doesn't mean you're going to probably play much in the summer league, but at least you're going to be fine. Hopefully for next season. So don't be surprised if you see the Pacers make another run next year. But damn, did they make it close, and damn, did they make it interesting, and damn, did they make it heartbreaking for me and a lot of people. Okay, now am I a self-proclaimed Indiana Pacers fan? Absolutely not even close. But just because we had the belief system in place, I trusted Kyle Lutz, which I would do it. I'd go into the fire with him again. Very knowledgeable guy in the National Basketball Association, NBA. He's very knowledgeable about it, so I trust him in every facet of the league. But I had some of my own preconceived notions of watching the Pacers play, especially the New York Knicks, okay, and the ECF, because that's where I really thought that they would have an edge on this OKC team. Now, obviously, OKC is tough to beat. You get a tough draw by getting OKC in Game 7 after a dominant Game 6 in Indiana. So a lot of unfortunate events took place. But you look at SGA in Game 7, 29 points, playing 40 minutes. Jalen Williams with 20 points. A couple of guys, Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace coming off the bench with 10 points apiece. So you got players that are doing their thing. Dort played 35 minutes, had 9 points, 7 rebounds. He's playing gritty basketball, though. This guy is so tough to play against. And you want to talk about the absolutely, just an abomination on offense for the Pacers. Okay, Mathurin had 24 points. He was getting to the hole. He was bringing some grit back into that team's locker room there when the going was getting tough. They were getting down quite a bit, and it didn't look too good. But he still revived them. He still revived him when the going got tough. And damn, did TJ McConnell get shut down by the defensive core of the OKC Thunder. He didn't give us that grittiness that we see in Game 6. If we look at the stat sheets and we watch the game, we see the intangibles. We didn't see that in Game 7 at OKC because it was an annihilation, both defensively and offensively. They rallied, the crowd got behind them, and they win 103-91. So kind of a tough draw going Game 7 in OKC. But listen, you got to play through adversity. You got to play through these types of things because it's Game 7, the NBA Finals. It's a Cinderella story, and it really could have been a Cinderella story. Now, if Tyrese Halliburton would have stayed in the game, we never know what could have happened in that game. Does it become a closer game? I think we can assume it does. So you're talking a 12-point deficit to win the NBA Finals. I think you cut that in half. I think you cut that to 6 points. But does OKC still win? I think that they have high potential to still win that game, regardless of Halliburton played or not. Pascal Siakam had 16 points. Does it play a role? We'll never know because we can go out and say, oh yeah, Tyrese would have went out and shot, 25 points, put 25 points up on the board by himself and with, similar numbers that we did get. You still got a close game. So run it through the simulator, see how many times Indiana wins that matchup. The Rick Carlisle effect, this is what really bothered me, is because I saw the Rick Carlisle effect in action. This is why they got to the NBA Finals. And to see it kind of crumble in front of our eyes, not blaming Rick Carlisle at all, but I needed to see more on the coaching side. Now, obviously, you're missing your star player. You're missing your facilitator on the floor. So everything becomes vastly more difficult at that point. So I don't blame Rick Carlisle. I think he might have been able to do a little bit more shifting around, reallocation of certain players and roles that they might not be expected to play in, but it might help the team as a whole. So I was expecting to see that a little bit more. Nembhard, there's a lot asked out of Nembhard. Okay. And he put 15 points up. He had to do better. He had to put up 22 points. Okay. And now you're right back in that game, I think. And he played very inspired basketball. But a couple of these guys, you just want them to play a little bit better. Now, Mathurin did the best out there on the floor. And I gave him a lot of shit for missing free throws in some earlier games and even past series. But he got to the line. He made his free throws in this game. So he did his job. I was very impressed with what I saw from 0-0 in that Game 7. But they fell short. It is what it is. Now we have to look forward to the NBA draft, it's right around the corner. It's happening tomorrow, guys. So the NBA draft is they don't miss a beat. Okay, they don't miss a beat. They're saying, okay, the NBA season is over with. We're jumping right into the NBA draft. We're not going to mess around. We're not going to, lollygag. We're going to get right into it immediately. Okay, so now you got your mock drafts. You got your pre-picks. You got your pre-draft guys that come up. The Cooper Flags, the Dylan Harpers. Okay, you even got the VJ Edgecombs coming out. Now you're expecting these guys to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got the top 5. You'd like to think you got it pretty much down pat. Now Cooper Flag dealing with some injury late in the year, falling short to Florida. And it is what it is. But you can't really fault the guy because we saw the same thing happen to many, many prominent Duke players. So Cooper Flag still well and beyond the best odds of being the number 1 overall pick. And Dylan Harper looking to be second coming out of Rutgers. So it's exciting. It's exciting. You got a lot of talent coming into college basketball. You got a lot of talent that's leaving college basketball and entering the NBA. So I'm excited to see where these players land. How does it even the playing field, especially with teams that played like absolute garbage this past year in the NBA? And who do the Pistons get? Because we're looking at the Pistons. We're trying to expect the Pistons to continue to rebuild and build on the young team that they have. Now, we're expecting them to do well. We're expecting them to do great things. But we also have to expect them to be comfortable with a good facilitator in Cade Cunningham. We've got to have him be that guy. You got to have a guy to be willing to miss those shots. And I talked about it with Kyle last couple weeks before the series started in the finals. You got to have a facilitator. You can't have a leader by committee. And I got to get Chuck back on here. I got to get Don Starr back on here. I got to talk to Cody. I got to talk to a lot of my college guys, but mostly Chuck. Mostly Chuck. And the reason is this. We talked about, and I agree with him. I talked about it too, and I confirmed what he said. Michigan State basketball. They're going to come up a lot. We're going to be talking about them a lot here going into and beyond past the NBA draft, going into the college basketball season. But the Michigan State Spartans have proven themselves to have a leader by committee. It wasn't Trey Holloman. It wasn't Jaden Akins. It was a culmination of guys. It was a group of guys that were easily in the rotation. Okay, and you had your facilitators, you had your role players like Cohen Carr and others that did their job, but they did their job when they were asked to perform. And it worked. It worked. I thought it worked. But then I slept on it. Then I thought about it a little bit more. And I'm like, you know what? You can't have a leader by committee. It doesn't work in the long term. You got to have that guy. And I really didn't realize that until I watched Tyrese Halliburton facilitate the Indiana Pacers to get them to an NBA Finals and beat the New York Knicks, a very poised New York Knicks, mind you. And you could argue that you had somewhat of a leader by committee with the New York Knicks, and that could have been partially why they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. So we're going to be looking forward to the NBA draft, see how it plays out, see how everything pans out for the NBA draft, who's the top 3 picks. Are the analysts and the pre-draft predictors correct? We will have to wait and see. Moving on to the PGA Tour, the Travelers. Okay, now you've seen some clips surface, Keegan Bradley, and you've seen the old clips of Miguel Angel Jimenez when they had a disagreement about a ruling that was made. And you look at the poise from Keegan Bradley. Now we've talked about Keegan Bradley very spottily on this show. Maybe Sobo and I have talked about him, but you don't see him in a lot of tournament pools. You don't see him in a lot of top 5 odds on the Vegas lines and the sports books. But he won this event at the Travelers, and he did it in style. Okay, now my heart goes out to Tommy Fleetwood and even Russell Henley after getting that amazing chip in on 18 to essentially settle the scores. Now, if Keegan Bradley misses that putt, you're going to a three-man playoff, which could have happened. That would have been really exciting to see Russell Henley come back from a chip in to get a birdie on 18. You know, birdie's basically out of play from where he was. You can barely see the ball. Chips it in from greenside. Rolls a hell of a lot away. It's a long way of roll for Russell Henley. He chipped it in. And then Fleetwood just needs to make the putt, essentially, to stay in it and at least have a 2-man playoff and meet Keegan on the 18th tee box. But that wasn't how it played out. Instead, he chips it just outside of Keegan Bradley's spot after he had a hell of a shot, being short-sided on the green, having to clear a bunker. You have to get the number correct, because if you don't, you're not leaving yourself a really good opportunity for a birdie on 18 there. So TPC River Highlands, it proved itself to be playable. It proved itself to be scoreable, but it also reared its ugly head in the least opportune moments. So a lot of players had to deal with that. Some players benefited. And it was clear to see which ones did. My heart does go out to Tommy Fleetwood, though, because damn, he was leading for a lot of that tournament. And to see him fall on his face and go 2 over on Sunday, you witnessed the choke happen, and you hate to see anybody choke. But if you're playing a competitive match in golf, that it is so easy to do that. You're trying just to get to a spot where you can feel good about yourself, where you can play the next shot, especially even in 2-man, but especially when you're playing your own ball. You got to get to a spot where you can play the next shot. You have to keep the ball in play. You have to keep the ball in a position where you can score. So, but when you play too carefully, that's when shit goes wrong, because you're really trying to play a different style of golf that you're not supposed to be playing. So that's what I saw Tommy Fleetwood do on Sunday, and it was unfortunate to watch. I wanted to see him win one. It's been a minute for him. But Keegan Bradley, it's kind of been a minute for him too. So to see him come in and win, it was a good thing to see. And it was a good win for the American. So I'm excited to see what we have coming up forward in the PGA Tour, which is the Open, known as also the British Open, the Open Championship. Right, it's one of those things where it's one of the majors, it's the last major of 2025. Xander Schauffele, the American, is the reigning champ of the Open. Established in 1860, it's the oldest golf tournament in the world, and the most prestigious, arguably. Playing for the Claret Jug. Now, if something doesn't get you going, watching the Open, watching the British will get you going. I guarantee it. So I'm looking forward to this year's event because it's the last major of 2025. It will set the course, set the stage going into 2026, and essentially the off season. You really don't have an off season in golf, but once the majors are done for the calendar year, you are kind of focused on the next major. So we're playing at Royal Portrush Golf Club, the Dunluns Links in Northern Ireland. So it's kind of, if you want to play it out to be in somebody's back pocket, it'd be Rory McIlroy. He knows this track. He knows this area. He knows this style of links golf. So we'll have to actually see if he rises to the occasion. We looked at him in his play at the U.S. Open in Oakmont in Pennsylvania, and we witnessed that course just beat the shit out of Rory McIlroy. Didn't look like Rory out there. Now, hats off to JJ Spawn and doing what he had to do to get up first, then to fall well behind, then to claw his way back up into the lead on Sunday for a victory with a very long putt. Now, I'm sure you saw that putt, but you want to talk about a guy that played with poise. And, he played against Rory McIlroy a few weeks back in a playoff. So, he's used to the pressure. The thing is, though, what I'm so interested to see and interested to know how these players do this is day to day. When you're playing golf, day to day, you can find that ability to block out the noise, block out what's going on around you. But you have days where you can do that effectively. You have days where it's tough. You can't get out of your own head. But not only that, I want to know how they transfer it from day to day. Not only day to day, but tournament to tournament, venue to venue, location to location, style of grass to different style of grass. It's difficult to play the same course consistently on a different day, let alone a different course, different location, different climate, different style of grass, different conditions, etc. I mean, you're playing, and that's the most difficult thing about golf is the landscape, the playing field, the playing surface is constantly changing. And even from day to day, we witnessed Augusta National in several Masters tournaments where the course will change significantly, and they will do it on purpose to change the course conditions, change the speed of the greens, change the height of the greens as they're cut, change the height of the fairway, change the height of the first cut, change the height of the rough. We witnessed the unbelievable rough that they had on display at Oakmont. So to put that all into perspective, and Scotty Scheffler and others have been able to prove themselves to do this very effectively. Playing well week to week. Find yourself in the top 10 often, okay? Doing it to a high level, playing at a high level where you were playing competitive golf, and you're going to be hard to beat, okay? You're on a roll, and you can carry that into the next round. That's what I got to crack the code on, because it seems like, for me, at least lately, and I've been dealing with some struggles golf-wise, and it's just one of those things. That is the game of golf. Okay, that is the game of golf. Translating and transferring how you're playing, the shots you're hitting on any given day, to be able to mold to that style of golf. Okay, now you're going to make adjustments mid-round, but you want to make minimal adjustments if possible. You don't want to be reinventing the wheel mid-round. So adjusting to your swing as you're hitting the ball that round. Mid-round, you can make those adjustments. But finding that level of consistency and then chipping away at it slowly but surely, baby steps, brick by brick, doing what you have to do to just get a little bit better every time. Even if your score doesn't necessarily get better as a golfer, get better at your mental game, get better at putting your hands where they need to be, get better at your stance, get better at your grip, get better at your putting stroke, whatever it may be, get better at something every round and then compound that. Don't take steps backward. Don't forget about certain facets of your game just because one's getting better. Okay, that's good. Now I don't have to worry about it. Wrong. You have to worry about it even more because now you're not as much worried about what you have to do, but you're worried about doing it every single time, embedding it into your short-term memory so you never forget it. That's what's important. So I digress. Let's transfer into the NHL a little bit. Stanley Cup Finals, Florida wins it 2 years in a row against the Edmonton Oilers again. I mean, damn, come on. Are we joking here? We've seen on multiple occasions, both this year and last year, Connor McDavid completely annihilate his team verbally and, degrading them. And he degraded himself. He threw himself into the mix as well. Yes, he's the leader of that team, but hey, damn, we got to do better. We got to do better. He said it. And we know he said it last year when we know he should have rose to the occasion and did better himself. He didn't do that. It is what it is. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss for words with this one because Brad Marchand just walked right all over the Edmonton Oilers defense. Okay. He was the man of the series. He was the MVP of the series, in my opinion. And he'll become a free agent. So teams are looking at him. They're licking their chops trying to get Brad Marchand right now. And I'm sure Florida's doing everything they can to keep him. The 37-year-old is playing some of the best hockey he's ever played. So you got to hand it to him and give him some credit, especially winning 2 years in a row against the same team. Now, we know a team did that a couple years back, and that is the Tampa Bay Lightning. So to win it 2 years in a row, it's not impossible. It's doable, especially if you retain a lot of your core guys, a lot of your glue guys. But you still have to go out and do it. Okay, and it could have been Edmonton 2 years in a row. But they just forget how to play hockey when the going gets tough. And, you think you have it, you claw back, you get back in the game from 3-0 and one of the earlier games in that series, and you win the game in OT. Then Edmonton fans, they think, we got this. We got this. This is our series. This is our series to win. When in reality, it was their series to lose. And they have everything going for them, and they let it go. Fascinating stuff. I don't know how that happens. But a team like Edmonton, I think they miss it's the poise, it's the mentality, it's the ability to play hockey, but it's the ability to put yourself in a mindset where we're good enough to win. We're good enough to win against the reigning Stanley Cup champs at their house. We're good enough to play better than we think we can. And there's certain humps that they really struggle to get over in that series, and it's just unfortunate. It really is. I don't know what else to say. But that's the reality of it. Wimbledon is underway, and this is a event that is very exciting. Playing on the grass, playing in all white. It's something of amazement. It's something that dreams are made of. Now, what will we see Novak Djokovic do? Obviously, the big shooters, Jannik Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Francis Tiafoe. I'd love to see him get in there. Casper Ruud. A lot of these guys, some of these guys got to play better. Alcaraz got humbled a little bit. He had some losses, bad losses. Okay, Daniil Medvedev, He's got what it takes to go deep, especially on grass. But there's so many contenders, and tennis is such a precision sport, very similar to golf, very high etiquette sport. I don't want to call it high society, but it's a very proper, very fancy sport. But it involves a lot of precision. Involves a lot of precision. So yes, it might look simple on TV. These guys make it look easy, but very difficult sport. So anybody can win this one, but it's exciting to look and see who the big hitters are and how they can play and how they can score. With basically the Roland Garros, the French Open just just passed us by, and now we're into Wimbledon already. So these guys are getting thrown to the fire. It just started, so look forward to a lot of great games, a lot of great matches coming up. Matches, games. Listen, it's tennis. Okay, get tennis games, tennis matches. I might get some flack for that, but we're calling it how it is out here. And don't at me. Okay, moving on. We got to talk about. Actually, no. Yeah, we got to talk about this. We'll talk about the GSNC 6 here in a minute. Now, I was poking around a little bit, looking at the news, looking at the headlines, looking at Twitter, and everybody's talking about, if anyone's talking about the NFL, it's about Aaron Rodgers and his deal, his 1-year deal with the Steelers. And how does that make me feel? People have asked me. I don't know. I guess my mentality is, if you have the ability to play, if you have the athletic ability, if you have the physicality, your body will allow you to do it, then by all means, get out there and play. Because you only have a certain amount of years on this world, first of all. And not only that, but you only have a certain amount of years where you can be physical and play at your highest athletic ability. So, with that being said, get out there and play. He's claiming it to be a one and done. There's been a lot of, I call it the QB carousel over there in Pittsburgh. They went through a lot of different options at quarterback. Mike Tomlin is not an idiot. He knows what he's doing. But you know what? Maybe there is some question marks because, I don't know. Ever since Big Ben left, there's been some question marks, at least at the quarterback position. So they've struggled a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see. Can Aaron Rodgers do it? Can he put at least a somewhat successful season out there? Now, I believe Tomlin has never had a losing season. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steelers fans. But I think it's fair to say that Aaron Rodgers can't play like he did in New York and expect to still have a winning season. So they do have some limited options at quarterback, but you'd like to think that Aaron Rodgers, being a one-and-done year, being the 20-year veteran that he is, he's going to get the first string position at quarterback for Pittsburgh. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see what happens. I say go out there and play. Maybe he can find some more athleticism, some more poise, some more will to play, because I didn't see that in New York. All right? I didn't see that in New York. And yeah, Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers might have not got along too well. But damn it, I need to see better football. And I don't care how old you are. Big Ben did it, and he was a lot less athletic than Aaron Rodgers. And that's saying a lot, but really, they're not too far off when it comes to athletic ability. And Ben used his size to his advantage, at least. I'd say that I'd love to see, you know what? I would love to see Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger compete in the 40. Who do you got? I don't know. I think I have Big Ben. I'd love to take Big Ben in that one. So let's get the combine together because I got to figure that out. But, man, that's exciting. Well, we love to see Aaron Rodgers come back. Might not be an Aaron Rodgers fan, but to see him come out and play football for one more time, one more year, let's see it. Let's see it. The GSN Sports Network Challenge 6 is on September 13th, 2025. Get set up, get signed in, get registered for the GSN Sports Network Challenge 6. It's the two-man event of the year. And we hope to see you out there, man. Going to be a great event sponsored by the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation, benefiting the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation. Going to be a great event, like it always is. Happening in the fall this year. I like fall golf. Okay. People have asked me, am I playing in the event? I haven't played in the last 3-4 years, something like that, give or take. I don't know yet. I like how the current structure is, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm not going to release any information on that right now. Good deal. That brings us to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Got CONCACAF football on right now. It's going to be exciting. You also got the FIFA Club World Cup going on in the soccer world. So it's not like we have nothing going on. So get out there, find something. MLB is also live and in play right now. So we just got the World Series to look forward to, folks, and Wimbledon. Make sure to check us out on our website, ginsportsnetwork.com. Find us on Instagram at ginsportsnetwork. Find me on IG and Twitter at GinCommish. And we'll talk to you guys here next time on the Gin Sports Network podcast. For now, I'm John J. II. Have a great night.